This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
And we welcome you to the Fatal 4-Way live here on ONTV, along with Hollywood Q, Quadell Edwards, and special guest making his debut here on the show, as well as the PFC Network, Eric Scherer. I am Jason Klaus. We certainly appreciate you taking time out of your weekend to give the show a watch. We have a lot of news, headlines, rumor, and innuendo, and everything in between that we're going to break down in the next hour. Before we get to all that, Q, good to see you, brother. How are you feeling?
Feel great, man. I feel real good. I'm ready to talk about some good old wrestling and see what we got on our plate. And, man, we're going to have a good time.
Well, you look like $1 million. I don't
well,
mind
you know what? I wish I had it in my pocket.
Don't we all? Don't we all? And like we just mentioned, joining us for the first time here on ONTV as well as on the Fatal 4-Way, my longtime personal friend, Eric Scherer. It's good to see you, man. Thanks.
Good to see you.
Thanks for being here tonight.
I've been watching a long time. I'm happy to be here.
And conspicuous by his absence is the Stan Lee of PFC, Brian Balfe, unable to be here tonight, but we do know he is going to be tuning in. He may be calling in if he gets an opportunity. And if you want to call in and be a part of the show, we do have open phone lines right now, 810-277-3743. If you have an opinion, you have a question, you want to be a part of the show, you call in and it brings you immediately live on the air. Gentlemen, let's start with this tournament that's been going on in WWE. The John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, and this has been getting a lot of attention based on who is in it, who we thought was going to be in it, who isn't in it. But as things stand right now, all the roads are leading to December the 13th for Saturday night's main event. The winner of this tournament will be John Cena's final opponent. Now, we do know some of the quarterfinal matches that will be taking place. Rusev is supposed to take on Sheamus in one of those matches, but as we found out just as we were coming on the air here tonight, Sheamus may have sustained some sort of shoulder injuries stemming from his match on Monday night. And it puts into question, is he going to be able to continue in the tournament? And if not, who is going to be taking his place? Another match that is supposed to be happening as part of the quarterfinals for this tournament, Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso going one-on-one with L.A. Knight. Yeah. But what we saw this past week, Q, we'll start with you, a couple of surprise entrants in this tournament. Now, a lot of speculation was, is it going to be Adam Copeland? Is it going to be Chris Jericho? Obviously not, because both these guys are still affiliated with All Elite Wrestling. We're going to talk about All Elite Wrestling later on in the program here, but we did get the return of Zack Ryder, and we got the return of Dolph Ziggler. From your perspective, we'll start with you because I know you've been watching this a long time. Did the returns of Ryder and Ziggler do anything for you in terms of excitement for this tournament? And if not, who would you have put in those spots?
Well, initially, those returns were actually pretty good. I enjoy seeing Matt Cardona or Zack Ryder out there, and Dolph Ziggler got quite the pop, man. He is still pretty over, for everything that he has done for the company. What is this, 203rd or something match on Raw or something. But my only issue with it is, man, they came in and now they're gone. It's just, I would have loved to see one of those guys, maybe Dolph, maybe get to the second round or something. But initially the returns were it was pretty much just for the pops. You know, neither one of those guys are signed.
Right.
So, it was a one-off, even though they put merch out there for Zack Ryder. You know, WWE got to make that money.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
we're going to be talking. That's going to be a topic of conversation later on as well. But we'll get to that later.
But as far as them two being the surprises, I wish there were more. That's my only thing. I wish there were more surprises. I wish the tournament maybe should have started sooner. It could have been a little bit bigger. You know, it could have had some more NXT talent in there. I feel like NXT was not represented that good.
Not very well, aside from
Javon Evans. He had a good showing. But as soon as they showed the graphic with him and Gunther, I was like, well, there goes NXT.
Yeah.
You mentioned Javon and the showing, and Eric, I'll ask you this first. The showing that he had on Monday against Gunther, the former world champion, making his return to WWE for the first time since dropping the title at SummerSlam in August, really put this kid on a national map. And as a fan, you bring a different perspective as a fan to the show than Q and I do, right? So from your perspective, what was your biggest takeaway with Javon's performance on Monday against Gunther, who did advance to the next round? I thought when I saw the graphic, I'm like, this is going to be a 5-minute squash, right? But this kid really put on all display why he is one of the brightest stars in NXT. Would you agree?
Yeah. I would have thought it would have been a squash too. Gunther's first match back since SummerSlam, was it? Mm-hmm. And they had Javon hanging in there. He looked good. And a lot of people are saying Gunther's lost some aura. I don't know. He wasn't getting as big of a pop in the arena that night.
It's funny that you mentioned the pop, because when I watched it, and we're talking about Raw this past Monday, and it was in Madison Square Garden. When his music hit, like the initial pop was, oh my God, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to turn this guy babyface? But how are you going to turn Gunther babyface? I mean, because once the bell rung, I was like, oh, okay, there it is. My thing is, what I would have loved to have seen, Q, and I'll ask you this. What if Javon had a 1-2-3 kid moment where he rolled him up, got a quick win, but Gunther just beat the snot out of him so bad that he wouldn't be able to continue in the tournament, and then would have to, take his place anyway. The heat that Gunther would have had, because I feel like at this point, when you look at the brackets, and there's 2 matches that will be happening on SmackDown later on tonight, one to determine Gunther's next opponent, and then the other for Solo Sikoa, who picked up a big win on Monday. But what would that have done for both of these guys had they had done that? Would we have seen Javon just make a jump to the main roster, and would it have been sustainable?
Whew. A 1-2-3 kid moment. Oh my God.
One of
my favorite moments.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't had one of those in a while.
We haven't. And that would have been, you know what? Now that you said that would have been a perfect scenario. Gunther he wouldn't lose anything from that, because think about it, Razor didn't.
Right.
So, I mean, Gunther would have, especially if he would have attacked Javon right after that and just beat the snot out of him. I mean, Gunther, for all the ones who say that he lost his aura, I think he has more aura, and he would have had even more if he would have done something like that. For one, when that music hit, I was excited that it was the old thing. Mm-hmm. I'll pop from that. But man, if that would have happened, not only will you raise Gunther up to an even higher sadistic level, but Javon would have been a made man.
Absolutely.
He would have been a made man. I think he's good. And he's only 21.
Right.
So that says a lot.
This kid is going to be, I mean, aside from any major injuries, God forbid if something like that was to happen, that's the only thing that could derail him right now. I don't watch NXT every week. I'm a highlights guy. I'll watch the highlights of it. But he is one of those guys that I'm like, he's got something special. There's something special about this kid, and it's been a while since I've felt that way about. That's a spam call. I wonder if we should get them. Because it will tell me if it comes through the actual TV phone number. So we'll just go ahead and let that ride. Man, I should have done it. I should have done it though. But Javon, he's going to be part of the future of WWE.
He even had a good showing with Randy Orton.
Yeah,
he had a good showing with Randy Orton. What was that? Earlier this year or last year, or something like that. Sky's the limit.
You talk about Gunther, and when you look at the way the tournament is breaking down right now, I feel like he's probably the odds-on favorite right now to win this tournament. And if he was to get that kind of red-hot heat, white-hot heat, we could see a real-life Rocky versus Ivan Drago type of situation for Saturday night's main event on December the 13th. Eric, I'll ask you, when you look at the guys who are remaining, I know right now there's a question mark with Sheamus,
right?
If he's going to be able to go against Rusev next week. Who would you say is the odds-on favorite to take on John Cena? Who deserves it?
Oh man, I couldn't even tell you who's left right now. My mind goes blank. But Gunther, immediately goes back in the title picture whenever he comes back from injury. Looking at this here, I don't think they're going to give it to Rusev.
But there's a story with Rusev too.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Rusev be the guy. I wish they would do more with him. Actually,
I think he needs it.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Of all these guys, he is the one that needs it. I would say Rusev or LA Knight.
Yeah.
Because they're doing LA Knight dirty here in the last few weeks.
LA deserves it. Was it last week? They cut him off mid promo.
Yeah.
They took him off TV after showing a poster board, saying we want LA Knight. Mm-hmm. They're doing him dirty.
Not only that, they didn't even show it during the replay on Netflix. They cut that whole segment out.
Yeah.
And because I don't watch Raw live as it's happening, but people will take a video of it, put it up on TikTok and stuff like that. And I was like, what are you doing? Like this guy is one of the most over guys in WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why are you doing him like this? And in the same vein, they are still continuing trying to do something with Jey Uso, and I've been on the Jey Uso fan train for a long time. But even I have to sit back and admit, like he's losing steam, man.
Yes.
But you're going to try to bury LA Knight. Maybe this is part of a storyline that they're like an
That's what
organic. I'm hoping
Yeah,
too,
that's
because
what I'm
if
hoping.
not, LA Knight is the kind of guy that if his contract was to expire, and I don't know what the terms of his deal is, but if he was to go to AEW or another organization, he would use that momentum, and he could be somebody on that brand. When we talk about AEW, we're going to make a transition here because they have been in the news in the last few weeks. A lot of question marks around their future in terms of their television distribution. Right now, All Elite Wrestling does have a contract with Turner Broadcasting. Their programs show up on TNT and TBS, but they're also part of the Warner Brothers Discovery umbrella. And the news has come out that WBD is now up for sale. The terms and everything that goes on behind the scenes with these media conglomerates, there's a lot of inner workings that go on with these types of things. But the fact of the matter is, WBD is looking for new owners. And two of the three of the most potential organizations that it's going to acquire this brand puts AEW in a lot of trouble. Paramount Plus is among them, and they would be their best chance to maintain what they've got going on now. However, Netflix and Comcast have stepped up as potential buyers of WBD, Netflix being the number one. Q, if Netflix or Comcast, which does own USA Network, they own Peacock, they own NBC Universal, that has had and continues to have a long-standing relationship with WWE, there ain't no way that I can see if one of those two brands were to acquire AEW or to acquire WBD, AEW's off the air in terms of a streaming service. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't see them being under the same television umbrella as WWE. That would be kind of a stretch. And one thing about WWE is they're stretched between a lot of different partners.
Platforms.
Yeah, a lot of different platforms, and which is smart because they're taking up a lot of the market. But AEW has to find that right spot to land, and it's going to be hard. I know. I don't know how long their existing contract is for.
I think they've got 2 more years.
2 more years, yeah. So I don't know how that will work with their contract being active. You have to finish that out, or that has to be fulfilled or something like that. But AEW is going to have to start looking and seeing all of their options because the TV deal is what keeps you relevant these days, and it's some type of deal have to be in place for you to be relevant. That's the problem with TNA right now. Is TNA is one TV deal away from being one of the top brands.
I would say the number 2 brand.
And if AEW lose theirs, then I think the best thing they got going for them is, people don't really watch cable like that anymore.
Right.
But as far as cable, they are one of the upper, top numbers when it comes to views, even though the views aren't really there for cable. So if they can kind of show that, yeah, we can make you money, then maybe somebody will pick them up, but it really depends.
That's the thing that I am dialed in most to right now, because and I hate using this as a reference, but during the Monday Night War, during that time in the 90s, it was TNT versus USA Network, right? I mean, the brands were WWE and WCW, but the networks were the ones who were really benefiting from this.
Heck yeah.
That is no longer a thing, not like it was. And even the way the Nielsen ratings are compiled now is different because of the streaming platforms. And WWE, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, they were very smart. Nick Khan was very smart to lock down the major streaming platforms.
Yep.
And I was very critical of it in the beginning. I'm like, there is no way you're going to get people to subscribe to 3 or 4 different platforms, but here I am, and I'm subscribed to 3 or 4 different platforms because of my fandom for this brand. It's not just Netflix, it's not just Peacock, now it's ESPN. And with Netflix being the number 1 streaming service, and Comcast having a stranglehold over everything NBC Universal, Paramount Plus now has the opportunity to pick up this brand if they want to get into the wrestling space. The problem is, and I know I'm going to get heat for this, and that's fine. You can send me your hate tweets over at PFC Network on X. what AEW is putting out right now, and Eric, I know you're not a real big AEW fan, but what they're putting out there now, their numbers are not reflective of what Tony Khan's narrative is. Tony Khan was cornered outside some sort of building in New York last week, and a fan was asking him a bunch of different questions about the future of AEW. And you could totally see that Tony Khan, and look, I have not been a fan of this guy on a business level or a personal level, just how he portrays himself. But I understand, like, he's trying very hard to be relevant in the wrestling space, and I do have a degree of respect for him. However, though his presentation to the public is cringeworthy at best, and you can tell that this is a guy who is low-key on the verge of becoming completely unhinged, because there's so many question marks about this. Eric, do you watch the majority of your content in terms of wrestling? Do you watch it on a streaming platform?
Yeah, I watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix every week.
Right.
And
we're gonna do this. Hi, you're on the Fatal Four-Way live on ONTV.
That's cool. Is this Jason?
Yes, it is.
Hi, I'm Jillian. I'm calling from Residences at Grand Lake Apartments, seeing how the apartment search is going.
Do you have a question about the Fatal Four-Way?
I do not. I was calling to ask if you were still apartment searching.
Okay.
I'm a little confused right now. I gotta be honest.
I mean, do you have a prediction of who John Cena's last opponent's going to be?
I see no answer in sight. Yeah, I'm stumped on this one. This was okay. So were you interested in an apartment?
Okay. Thanks for calling in. Not sure what really happened there, but be that as it may. So, like, I was having a hard time understanding what was happening. All right. If we get a better connection, by all means, please call back. If you do have an opinion, question about what we're talking about here on the show. But as far as AEW is concerned, I would suggest probably Paramount is going to be their best option, because I don't know of another streaming platform that's going to be viable. That, like, obviously Netflix is number one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can all agree on that. Comcast is going to be right there at number two. Is there another platform, Eric, other than Paramount that I'm not aware of that could reach out and be like, okay, we're going to bring their services to us? I can't think of another.
I can't think of it.
I know Hulu's reached out to, in the comedy world, how, they're trying to put out comedy specials, same as Netflix, but I don't think I'd see them reaching out to the wrestling world as well.
Well, you use the word comedy, and a lot of what AEW is doing is pretty laughable, if I can be honest with you. But be that as it may, what do you think, Hugh? I mean, what am I missing here?
Oh, it's got to be Paramount. It's either Paramount or nothing.
Right.
I mean, because think about, if you're thinking about how many households you can actually reach, Paramount would be the ideal landing spot for AEW if this were to happen. So
now, right now, I mean, they do have a deal in place with HBO Max, okay, and I can understand. I appreciate that they do have that capability, but they're not running that streaming platform the way WWE is, and I know they're trying to do things separately. However, it's not very viable when you go on, when I order or I subscribe to ESPN because that's where the premium live events are.
Yep.
I know that's the whole reason why I got ESPN. I'm not subscribing to HBO Max just to get the AEW pay-per-views, which are not all the time broadcast live.
Right.
It's usually on some sort of a delay.
You still got to pay a premium for that, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, that brand just isn't appealing to me. And I know there's a contingent of the IWC that is going to rip me to shreds on that. And look, I understand and I can appreciate your fandom, but you got to take your fandom off the table and look at the business sense here. We would cover more AEW on this program if there was something worth covering. And I'm just not seeing it. I try, Q, I really do.
Yeah. How about that Mercedes Monet, huh?
I knew it. Why did you bring her up? Why you did that just to trigger me, didn't you?
Woo!
Well, I'm not. No. I said what I said a couple of weeks ago about her on here, and everything that I said is still coming to fruition, and it makes me absolutely sick what they're doing with her, because she's just not that good. She's just not that good. I hate to be the one to tell you people that. She's just not that good. Not the way she's being portrayed. They want her to be Ultimo Dragon.
Ultimo Monet.
Oh my God. That's her handle on that.
Yeah.
And I've been like, no.
Oh man, she's leaning into it.
Completely.
She's leaning into it.
Completely took me out of it, even more than I already was. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here on the program. And again, if you have an opinion, we do ask, if you do call, to turn your volume down when you're calling into the show. I think that may have been part of the problem of why I was having a hard time understanding, because the delay and the echo was messing me up. But make sure your volume is turned down if you have an opinion. The number is up on your screen, 810-277-3743. When we talk about WWE, you got to talk about the overall umbrella of the brand, which is TKO, and at the helm of TKO is Mark Shapiro, the CEO of WWE, TKO, UFC. It's all under one umbrella. Mr. Shapiro has not been shy about talking to the media, and during a recent media rights conference, he made some pretty bold and controversial statements that had longtime wrestling fans kind of in a panic. Essentially, and I'm paraphrasing here obviously, he is looking to get past the Vince McMahon era of World Wrestling Entertainment. By quoting him, he said something along the lines of taking the torch and moving on past Vince McMahon. And with that came the speculation that they were going to do everything they could to erase McMahon's fingerprints off of WWE. What the source of contention was is that it brought into question the premium live events that McMahon had made staples in the wrestling space, specifically the Big Four: Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, the Survivor Series, and WrestleMania. This caused a panic, Q, and when you start talking about erasing these staple events from the wrestling calendar, and we kind of leaned into this a couple of months ago with the creation and subsequent presentation of WrestlePalooza. It's like, is this an attempt to replace an established brand of WrestleMania? This had people in a legit panic. Now, it leads me to this. Because of the panic, now Shapiro did kind of lean back a little bit and be like, no, we're not getting rid of WrestleMania. We're not going to get rid of SummerSlam. Look, I understand that this dude is a successful businessman. I'm not taking anything away from that. But he clearly does not know how to communicate within the wrestling space. He's done the same thing with UFC and the way they distribute their content. Now, I would say this, and I'll get both of your opinions. If you want to run TKO from the office. Leave the communication of the wrestling fan for the wrestling fans to Paul Levesque, and leave the communication of UFC to Dana White. These are the two guys who know their respective brands better than anybody inside and out. What is your opinion? Q, I'll ask you first.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Mark Shapiro needs to just be quiet. You know, you don't need to just stay in the office, speak on the business end, but when it comes to the wrestling space, I would leave the communication to Paul Levesque and even to Nick Khan. You know, I would let Nick Khan speak sometime, you know.
Although he said some stuff too, where I'm like I'm trying to get on his bandwagon,
Yeah.
and I'll get on it, and then he'll say something. I'm like, damn it, why did you have to say that? But no, you're right.
Yeah. As far as him, Mark Shapiro talking about erasing Vince McMahon's legacy and all of this stuff, there's no way that you're going to be able to eliminate WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. We're talking about the big money-making events, and what is TKO about? Making money. WrestlePalooza this year was not good. So if you want to establish something like WrestlePalooza and even put it on the same level as the Big Four, well, you already started off to a bad job. So, you know, from here on, when we look at WrestlePalooza next year, we're going to be like, man, I hope it was better than last year.
Right.
You know, so WrestleMania, we know what WrestleMania is. It's established. We know all the 40-plus past WrestleManias. We know about those events. We know about the Royal Rumble. Even the Royal Rumble this year was good, even though Jey Uso won. You know, it was the shock factor. Hopefully LA Knight get that push next year. Now,
Yeah.
As far as erasing Vince McMahon's legacy, Vince McMahon's fingerprint is glued. It is cemented in this brand. You cannot say WWE without Vince McMahon. I don't care what you do to change things. You can put all the logos you want to on that mat. We know this is a Vince McMahon creation. He brought it to the forefront. He made it global. This was his vision that was taken to another level by Mark Shapiro, TKO, Nick Khan had a lot of business actions to it, and you know, and now Paul Levesque with creative and everything. This is Vince McMahon's first. Then it was elevated by others.
Yeah, if we didn't have the solid foundation that McMahon created, there wouldn't. Number one, WCW probably would have won the Monday Night War.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one.
Almost
Two,
did.
and what would have happened? What would the entire would we know professional wrestling now had WCW won the war? My argument, well, obviously no, it would not have. But would we even be talking about pro wrestling now? Because you didn't have a guy as passionate about the business running WCW. Because wrestling is McMahon's, it's in McMahon's blood.
Yeah.
Third generation promoter, his grandfather, his father. I mean, the McMahon name is synonymous in this space with Madison Square Garden, right? Yep. Like the world's most famous arena. Eric, would you agree that WrestleMania, we'll use this as an example, WrestleMania has become its own brand? Like, people know it's WWE, but when you use the word WrestleMania, Like, you know what that is. You know it's a wrestling show. You know it's the biggest show of the year. It's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, right? And I understand the premise of wanting to get away from like your second tier pay-per-view, your paybacks and backlash and things of this nature. From your perspective, is there any way, would your interest wane at all if they were to eliminate WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Royal Rumble and the Survivor Series? Would you quit watching it? Would it make you feel differently as a fan on this brand?
I wouldn't quit watching, but those are the big ones. Those are the hits.
Right.
Like you said, the WrestleMania is the Super Bowl. You can't take away the Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree with what you guys said. Shapiro, stay in your office. Let UFC guys handle the UFC. Let WWE guys handle WWE. And you do business. You make your money.
Yeah. Yeah, just sit there and just collect it. You know what I mean? Like, just put it out there when they need it.
Sign stuff.
Sign the checks. Stay the hell out of the press conferences. You want to talk about their earnings. You want to talk about how much money you made in the quarter. That's fine. But when you start, this is what kills me, is you get business people like this who do not understand and or respect the wrestling fan. Because wrestling fans are unlike any other group of people on the planet. The closest thing, and I've said this a million times, the closest thing that comes to it, it's not the NFL, it's not Major League Baseball, it's not hockey or NBA, it would be NASCAR. Because fans gravitate towards their favorite driver, their favorite wrestler, their favorite superstar, and I mean, they are all in. You don't really get that with other sports, other teams. The Detroit Lions start tanking, we're jumping off the bandwagon, and all of a sudden everybody's a New England Patriot fan. You feel me? It's ridiculous. But you don't get that with professional wrestling. And let Paul Levesque, Triple H, be the point man for professional wrestling because he knows professional wrestling. Let Dana White do the same for UFC because he knows MMA. Let it alone and close your mouth. You are embarrassing yourself and you're pissing off your consumer. Okay, because you're a death by 1,000 cuts. You know what I mean? And you are on like 1,314 right now.
Yeah.
Because eventually wrestling fans will tune away when they feel like they've been jaded or disrespected. Facts.
And lower your prices.
I mean,
Mark.
that's a whole nother thing. Whole nother thing. Let's jump to this week's 3 headlines that came across our radars in the last couple of weeks here. Unfortunately, we start off with the sad news that longtime professional wrestling journalist Bob Caudle has passed away. One of the voices of Georgia Championship Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance under the Jim Crockett Promotions umbrella, longtime broadcast partner of good old JR, Jim Ross. Eric, I know you asked me, who was Bob Caudle, right, as a newer fan. Q, were you aware of his work?
I was. He was definitely earlier in my lifetime. I did see him in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Yeah.
So that was my first introduction to him back in the early 90s. I mean, like 91 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sad. 95. 95, man.
One of the true classic voices in professional wrestling, and really, he was the stick man for Jim Crockett Promotions for a long time. He played like the Mean Gene role. He would do a lot of the iconic interviews with Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, Magnum TA. Just one of the true, and from my understanding, I listened to Jim Ross last week. who was obviously very broken up about this thing, but one of the true good guys in professional wrestling, and he had been around for a long, long time. So we wanted to send our condolences to the fans, family, and friends of Bob Caudle. Another piece of news that we saw this past week, El Paso, Texas is honoring one of their own. The late, great Eddie Guerrero is getting his own day in his hometown, and probably long overdue. You talk about you know, an impact that one superstar makes on his hometown. Eddie was that guy, and his daughter, Kaylee Guerrero, has really come out here in the last few months and really taken a public view. You know, she launched her new TikTok channel, and it's gained a lot of traction. She was on hand for this presentation and dedication. What was Eddie Guerrero to you? I mean, were you a big fan of his?
You know what? Funny enough, at first I wasn't, but it was when he came to WWE. In WCW, I wasn't that big of a fan, but when he came to WWE and he really got into his character, the whole lying, cheating, steal gimmick, and you know everything that he was doing with Chavo, and that's when we first seen Dominic. I mean, Dominic had a long career, but man, Eddie really came into his own when he got to WWE, and I really became a big fan of his when he started embracing the entertainment of his career. Like he was very, very entertaining. He would make you laugh. He would make you smile. He'd make people want to cry. I mean, dude was he would just make your mind wonder. Like, man, and it's crazy. It's been almost 20 years.
Yeah,
I think
2005.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, 20 years. Yeah, man, I want to say November. So we just
November 15th, I think.
Yeah, so we just celebrated the 20th year anniversary of. Wow, he's been gone.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
It doesn't seem like that long. Eric, were you a fan of Eddie's? I mean,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I had a cousin who I called Dustino Heat, and yeah, his legacy has surpassed him, or not. His legacy survived like 20 years now.
Right.
How many superstars do we not hear about? But we still hear people chant Eddie in the stands.
No, for sure.
And a lot of that's due to his son, you know, killing it right now. But
Now, let me ask you both this real quick. Had he not gone to WWE and embraced the entertainment portion of his presentation, if he had stayed in WCW, would there be an Eddie Guerrero Day in El Paso, Texas?
I don't think so. I think WWE made this man. He made him. It's almost the same thing I said about Vince McMahon. You got the foundation right there, but then you needed somebody else to help elevate it. So he had his foundation in WCW. He had a great career in the cruiserweight division, but when he got into WWE, they elevated him. I mean, to the point where he was the main event. Yep. He was the main event of SmackDown. So yeah, WWE made this man to who he is today. That's why we have Eddie Guerrero Day in El Paso.
yeah, he's one of the best wrestlers. He's an amazing wrestler, but it was that, like Q said, the lying, cheating, stealing gimmick that really put him over.
The whole entertainment
Yes.
portion of it, yeah.
The lowriders.
Yeah. You know, and that's something that speaks volumes of, well, I mean, we'll go ahead and say it, of Vince McMahon. Because in WCW, Eddie and Malenko and Saturn and I hate to say it, but Benoit, like they all had a glass ceiling right there. Like they were never going to be allowed to be a part of the main event when you had a main event picture that consisted of Hogan and Savage and Goldberg and Sting. Like he was only going to get so far. So very, very happy that he's going to be honored even more so every year with an annual day in his memory. And then we learned that WWE is going to honor one of their favorite sons. The Undertaker is getting his own YouTube channel. All Things Undertaker, about to launch under the WWE YouTube umbrella. We sat here off air, before we started the show here tonight, and like, who else is going to get this kind of treatment? We threw out names like Hogan and Rock and Stone Cold, but Undertaker's probably the best one to start with. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. This is really a start of WWE moving their library to the YouTube platform.
Yeah.
And pretty much monetizing many different pages and getting as much money as they can back on return of investment right here. So Undertaker's a good way to start it off.
Would you agree with that?
I'm going to quote Logan Paul. I'm just tired of these outsiders thinking they can all become YouTubers.
He did say that. He did say that.
Very well, very good. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to run a quick timeout, and when we come back, we are going to break down and preview the Survivor Series. That and more when the Fatal 4-Way returns right after these messages.
9,
8.
Are you or someone you know having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance abuse crisis? 988 connects you to compassionate, confidential support for free.
988.
988 is the new 3-digit dialing code for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. For years, the Lifeline, formerly known as the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, has answered tens of millions of calls and helped people overcome mental health-related distress. 988 is the same trusted resource. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and get you additional help if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. Just call, text, or chat 988.
988.
Knowing how to identify signs of crisis in others and help connect them to resources like the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is an important way to prevent suicide in Lake Orion. For information about free suicide prevention trainings offered in our community, please visit the North Oakland Community Coalition at noccmi.org.
988.
Have you ever thought of producing your own podcast? ONTV offers the facilities, equipment, and training to help you get your own podcast off the ground. Learn how to record your show and get it out to the world. Cost is $25 per person, which gives you access to ONTV's podcast room and equipment. For more information, give ONTV a call at 248-393-1060 or visit orionontv.org today.
And we welcome you back to the Fatal 4-Way live on ONTV. We certainly appreciate you tuning in here, and if you have an opinion or question of anything of the sort, you can call us right now. The phone lines are open, 810-277-3743. We just ask that you turn your volume down when you call, because the feedback is distracting at bare minimum. All right, we're going to be breaking down, we kind of alluded to this earlier in the program, but next Saturday is one of the big four. The Survivor Series War Games will be going down November the 29th from Petco Park in San Diego, California, home of the San Diego Padres. Q, I actually saw a time lapse of them putting the set together.
Oh, really?
And oh my God. Like it's an overhead view. It's actually a guy that lives in an apartment that overlooks the stadium.
Oh, crap.
So you get kind of like behind the stage, but
Nice.
like the size of it is going to be very impressive. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with the set at Petco Park in San Diego, and it will be streaming live on ESPN. Just a couple of matches have officially been confirmed for the Survivor Series, including the rematch for the Intercontinental Championship when John Cena will defend the title against former champion Dominic Mysterio. Dominic in his hometown, where Cena won the title a couple of weeks ago in his hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. Q, I'll ask you first, do we see Dominic regain the championship in his hometown?
I think we do. I don't know if I like the booking of this, but yeah, I think Dominic's getting it back, and this is going to be a great rub for him, man. He has been Eddie Guerrero-esque,
Yeah.
you know, in this rise. You know, it's almost like it's not an all rise to Judgment Day anymore. It's all rise Dominic.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. He has become bigger than the Judgment Day. 100%. And what's that going to look like when Liv Morgan, makes her return? Because I would say she's the other real face of that faction. Eric, when you look at John Cena and what he's done in his career, what does this do? Just being in this match with Dominic, one of the rising stars, one of the future stars, main event stars of WWE. Does Dominic have a chance here to regain the Intercontinental Championship, or does Cena take the title to Saturday night's main event next month?
Well, talking about Eddie Guerrero Day, making me think of Ray. Ray just came back.
Mm-hmm.
Do they add Ray into this? Do we do a triple threat match? Ray beats his boy, and now we got a good feud going into next year. Ray's the Intercontinental champ. And, we're going to have a feud between him and Dom. I don't know, I just thought of that. I don't know.
I feel like there's enough meat on the bone, unsettled between father and son, and with Dom, and that's a very good point. With his return, and he was part of that six-man tag team match on Monday night. Ray and Sheamus and Cena taking on the Judgment Day. So I could see that being a scenario. What I take away really is, what the fact that they are putting Dominic in this position against the guy that they're calling the greatest of all time. And look, you don't have to be a John Cena fan to appreciate and respect what he's done. He was the face of an era for a long, long time. Not only does this do a lot for Dominic in his status as one of the future major stars in WWE, but his winning the Intercontinental Championship really has added another layer of respect on the title, the long history of the Intercontinental Championship. And look, I am not the biggest John Cena fan, but I do appreciate what they did, giving him that Grand Slam nod on his way out. So I love that for him.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He really does. I don't know if I can say the same thing for the next match that they have scheduled for the Survivor Series. The Women's World Championship will be on the line when Stephanie Vaquer will be defending the title against WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. Now, I'll tell you, during their initial run, I was a big fan of the Bella Twins. Not necessarily not because of what they were doing in the ring, because their in-ring work was, but I appreciated the gimmick, I guess, more than anything. And now that Nikki has returned to WWE, I was hoping that the time away, she would be able to get better from bell to bell. Her recent outings leaves a little bit to be desired. I just feel like of all the women that they have on the roster on Monday nights right now, and with this being a Big Four premium live event, I feel like maybe perhaps they could have gone a different route here for Stephanie Vaquer, because I feel like as good as she is, and she's phenomenal, she's going to have to carry Nikki Bella in this match. Would you agree?
Yeah, but I'm going to say this is not the reason why I don't want to see this match. Let me tell you why I actually hate this match.
Please. My goodness.
Nikki Bella is on a losing streak. I don't know when the last time she won a match. She lost to Becky. She lost to Roxanne twice in a row. but yet Roxanne doesn't get a title shot. Nikki Bella throws Stephanie into the LED board one time, sits there and cuts a promo on her while Stephanie had to sell for seemed like 5 to 10 minutes from one little throw, and now we have a title match. The whole booking of this is terrible. This is awful. I mean, it's not. What makes it worse is what you said, that Nikki is not up to par.
Right.
That what makes it worse. First is the booking. Why is she even in this? How did she even earn
Exactly.
a title shot? This one I don't understand.
Is it safe to assume that you're picking Vaquer to retain the title here?
Oh man, if Nikki wins, man, I'm done with the women's division for a while.
I will say that the heel turn that took place on Monday Night Raw the week prior, with Nikki turning on Vaquer, was it was the first time in a minute where I've seen something within the women's division where I'm like, oh, that was pretty well done. I don't know, Eric, if it was sustainable for a title match at a premium live event like the Survivor Series. What is your opinion?
Right. Like you said, I don't know what she did to earn this spot. She's not one of the top women. She's not one of the best women. She couldn't even say her last name right when she came back. It's going to be a great Devil's Kiss. I'm going to love seeing the Devil's Kiss.
Oh, yeah, man. The only highlight.
That's going to be it too. That'll probably be the second most downloaded clip from the entire show. So I can appreciate that. So your opinion, your prediction?
Stephanie
Vaquer.
She did just post on Instagram. Her wrist is swollen, and there's like a couple marks. Some are saying maybe from the diamonds from the belt when Nikki turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully she's not injured. Hopefully
Oh my God.
things are okay.
I hope those. Please.
Batten down the hatches. If Nikki Bella wins the women's world title at Survivor Series, Q will have a meltdown, and you're going to hear about it. We do know that there is a women's War Games match that is scheduled to take place at the Survivor Series, and most of the pieces have been set in place. We're going to wait for SmackDown to see who fills the remaining spots here tonight. We will keep you up to date on our socials, but we do know what the men's War Games match is going to look like. And you want to talk about star power. You've got both world champions on one team and some of their top contenders on the other. It will be Cody Rhodes, the undisputed WWE champion, teaming up with World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk, the Usos, and the returning Roman Reigns as they take on Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. This is as star-studded of a War Games match, Q, since WWE incorporated this as part of the Survivor Series. Drew McIntyre has been in just about every single one of these War Games matches. The same can be said for Jey Uso. He's been in a bunch of them. We have a stacked main event here. Would you agree? And what is your prediction? Who is leaving War Games the winning team?
Woo! Yeah, this is a stacked one. I don't know how the cage is going to contain both Brock and Braun in there. Braun Breaker and the other Braun, the Braun Browns, in there in the same cage.
I have on my nose too,
with
Braun
Brock.
Browns.
You can't put the Braun Browns in. One of those guys got to start the match.
Right.
But yeah, star-studded, man. Jey Uso, the Usos are always in it. I mean, I wish LA Knight would change his name to LA Uso, so he can get in one of these matches,
I think he should have replaced Jimmy Uso, if I can be honest.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that because I want Jimmy to do something.
I love Jimmy.
But, Big Jim is not LA Knight.
Yeah, Big Jim got stuff going on at home, man. I mean, I do want to see LA Knight in this. But anyway, For this match, we got to see the heels win this, in my book, because the last 2 years, I believe it was the faces.
Yeah.
So I would like to see a good showing from somebody like Braun Breaker. I want him to be the one to get the winning fall. Mm-hmm. Let him pin one of the champs. You know, whatever. It's going to be all kind of shenanigans going on anyway. So no pin is going to be a clean pin.
Right.
We already know that. For one thing, Bronson Reed, do not jump off that cage. Do not jump off that cage.
It didn't work out well for you last year,
No, it
pal.
did not. Do not do that again. But I believe that spot is going to be saved for Logan Paul. I guarantee you.
He's going to be the one that steals the show.
He's going to steal the
Absolutely.
show. He is, and I would love to see Logan Paul start the match.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Logan Paul start the match with one of the champs. Let him start the match. And I want Jey Uso to come in last.
Do you?
Yeah, because he's going to be gassed.
Yeah, he is.
So let him get
100%.
let him get his win and then get in there, you know. But yeah, I'm going for the heels. I'm going for the heels for this.
Eric, what's your prediction here?
Heels. The faces are too vanilla. They're too boring for me.
Ooh, we got a heel guy here.
We got a heel guy.
I'm a heel guy.
You know, like Roman? Roman is still a heel. I got to say this. Roman is still a heel. He's just likable. His character never changed since 2020.
Right.
He is still the same jerk, but people just like him.
I'm in that group.
Me too. I like him too.
It took me a hot minute to get on the Roman Reigns bandwagon, but once the tribal chief gimmick became a thing, I'm like, I can get behind this.
Yep.
100%. You're going heels.
Yeah, I was really big on Jay earlier in the year, but so many botches. Even last week with the end of the match against The Miz, I don't know what that was, but the announcers even had to say, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah. And then what we saw on Saturday night's main event with CM Punk.
Yeah. Too much pressure.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right.
He's tired.
He is. All right, and finally tonight on Klaus's Closeout, as we come into the holiday season here, I'll make this real quick. I just want, Thanksgiving is next week, and it is on this holiday that we gather with friends and family and give thanks and show our appreciation for the blessings in our lives. And while I have no doubt that my astute co-hosts each have their own things to be thankful for, I just wanted to take this opportunity to express my appreciation, my gratitude, my thanks to the ones who make the PFC network possible. And it's a group, it's a team, it's a family that makes this machine work, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. Joe Johnson he is invaluable. That guy is $1 million dude, and we would not be able to do this without him. Eric and Q and Brian and Jill and Amy and Tim and Eric Mendel, like all of my co-hosts on all my podcasts here on the PFC network, and all of you who tune in either here on ONTV or you download our podcast on the RSS feeds. I am so appreciative of you, and to my kids, my family, my girl, I appreciate each and every one of you and love you more than words will ever be able to express. So with that, we appreciate you tuning in here this week. Go out, be awesome to yourselves and to each other. Have a wonderful holiday, and we will see you in 2 weeks here on the Fatal 4-Way as a part of the PFC Entertainment Network on ONTV.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.